voice of the jungle. Well, cheers to the playoffs that we are definitely not going to make this year. Also, on that subject, I found the offensive line. It wasn't that hard to find. It was right next to Marvin Lewis's career, in my trash can. That's where he belongs. Because I am so sick and tired of Marvin mismanaging this team. He needs to step up and act like a coach. I mean, for God's sake, get it together. You've been with this team for most of my entire life, and I'm sick of seeing you. You know what the Bengals are like? They're worse than the cardiac cats at this point. The Bengals are like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with no peanut butter. So it's like jelly and bread, but not the biscuits that you actually enjoy. It's like jelly and bread on a cold, rainy day, and you get to the lunchroom and you open it up and you thought it was something good, but yet it just sucks once again. The offense had a good start in the first half. What happened for majority of the second half, I have no clue. Dalton cannot connect on third down. He was overthrowing almost every player on the field. I mean, even the plays that he did connect, they weren't pretty, except for the AJ Green and the Brandon LaFell. Those were pretty attractive. But other than that, I mean, no third down. You can't do that to us, Dalton. Our defense is the only reason that people even talk about us anymore, and yet they are sick and tired of having to put up with such a weak offense. I mean, when you give the game each week to the defense, especially when you get Pac-Man Jones out of the game for concussion, when you get William Jackson out of the game, and then don't get me started on throwing BURFICT out of the game, because I would love to see somebody send me in the film of where he hits the official, because I didn't see that. And I know the NFL and Roger Goodell have a little thing for BURFICT, and they're all attracted to him. All they want to do is they want to be all over him. That's it. Why? Because he's the best player on the defense. He's one of the best defensive players there is, hands down. And the NFL hates him for it, because there's not another player that has so much passion and drive for the love of the game of football. I mean, seriously. Brandon LaFell had a beautiful touchdown. AJ Green with a massive touchdown. Hopefully that redeemed himself from punching. I mean, if you're going to punch somebody, at least rip the helmet off of them after you choke them. Come on. But, I'll consider that a redemption. Joe Mixon, once again, working his way to be the forefront of the Bengals. I mean, like I said last week, let's build a shrine of that guy and dip him in bronze, because he will be the face of the Bengals. Now, I've heard some rumors and there's some news articles out about Andy Dalton selling his house. That has been confirmed. What that also means for the Bengals, nobody has a freaking clue. Nobody. So also, if you know anything about that, let me know, because God forbid, all of a sudden, if Andy Dalton leaves in the middle of the night with his beautiful wife, and I mean, if he ends up in New England as a backup or somewhere, and we're playing with McCarron, I want to know about it, because we cannot play McCarron until we get a decent offensive line. That's why we need to have Andy play with this terrible line that still exists years and years and years. I mean, seriously, when we can get a better offensive line is when we progress with Andy Dalton, we let that relationship move on, and we bring in a younger quarterback who can work his way up and have this space, have the time to drop back in the pocket, have Joe Mixon that will be able to navigate the pocket and run right through, or he can dance his way out, because right now, playoffs are out of the picture. And we need to make some serious changes, starting with Marvin Lewis. Cut him. He should have been cut 3 years ago. Get rid of him. Seriously. Seriously, Marvin, go. Somebody wake him up from a nap and box up the stuff in his office and kick him out. because he's done. Done. Forget Marvin Lewis. Forget our playoff. Forget it all. You know, in this whole game, it kind of confused me because there were times, once again, we were the cardiac cats where we looked good. But then there were times where I was literally yelling, you know, what the hell is going on? Who is this team? Because this is not the Bengals that we saw go 10-6 and lose in the playoffs. This is not the driving, hard-hitting Bengals offense that we saw a couple years ago. And for anybody that said, oh, yeah, let's save $2 million and not re-sign Whitworth, oh, go screw yourself. Because you have screwed the Bengals. Boy, we could really use Whitworth now, huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. So, bottoms up. Cheers to that. Voice of the Jungle. Send in your questions, comments, videos, pictures. You know, unless you're a Steelers fan, I want you to subscribe, like, you know, comment. Let me know what you guys think. I'm also thinking about doing a live kind of show, answering questions, giving my bias and vengeful opinion. Maybe pre-game Sundays. I don't really know at this point. I need your guys' feedback. I want to know what you guys think. Voice of the Jungle. You guys are just as much the voice of the jungle as I am. So we are going to be out at Paul Brown Stadium when we play the Browns in, what, 2 weeks? And I want to find the hardcore tailgaters. I want the craziest tailgaters. I don't want some, you know, shotgun a beer and, you know, call your mom, whatever. No. I want the hardcore tailgaters because as lackluster and as terrible as this team has done, let's at least show that the fans are still there. Even if our head coach is asleep in the broom closet, let the fans be there to really show that we still care and we still need a football team. That being said, this is Tanner from Voice of the Jungle. And, you know, like I said, follow me on Twitter, send me in your questions or whatever. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Unless you're a Steelers fan, get the hell out of here. Voice of the Jungle, Who Dey, baby. Voice of the Jungle. Voice of the Jungle.